The intersection in downtown Moorhead. Police now say the driver who caused the crash was booked into the Clay County Jail early this morning after being treated for injuries. Police say she was originally spotted speeding on I-94 from Fargo into Moorhead right around 5:30 last night.
An officer tried pulling the car over but called off the chase because of the driver's speed and erratic driving heading from the interstate to the downtown area. Two officers, they kept following that car and they saw it then hit another vehicle at 8th and Main. 19-year-old Kiera Kukowski was arrested for reckless driving and fleeing. No one else was hurt in that crash. It's being talked about as the biggest turn of the dial back to normal in Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz will announce the loosening of some statewide COVID restrictions a little later this morning. Now, he says the state is at a point where it hasn't been at since the start of the pandemic a year ago, and that there will be new rules for large gatherings starting as early as April.
The governor says proms and graduations in May and June will look pretty close to normal. 70% of Minnesotans aged 65 and older have received at least one COVID dose, and 20% of the state's total population has its first dose.
This has been a lot of change that's been forced on us. It's going to be a period of discomfort, but I know that if any state is going to come through it, it's going to be North Dakota.
The North Dakota Capitol lit up with a heart overnight in honor of victims of COVID-19. March 11th marked 1 year since the first COVID case was identified in North Dakota. As of today, 1,454 North Dakotans have died from the virus.
We heard about a couple of key timelines from President Joe Biden last night. Now, the president marked the 1-year anniversary of the global pandemic with his first primetime speech since being elected. He's also directing states to make all eligible adults for the COVID vaccine to get one by May 1st, though he acknowledges that it will likely take everyone longer to get that shot. He says if people do the right thing, there's a good chance that Americans will be able to have a more normal small gathering on the 4th of July.
Add CVS to the places you'll be able to get your COVID vaccine. The retail pharmacy giant added stores in a dozen more states to the federal retail pharmacy program, including North Dakota and Minnesota.
Appointments will be available on the CVS website starting tomorrow, and you could get your shot as soon as Sunday.
A chilly start to our Friday morning, but a warm-up is on the way. Let's get a check of our weekend forecast with meteorologist Lisa Green.
Good morning. Yes, we're looking at some milder weather even today after a cold start here this morning. A good sign that we've got some spring-like weather coming our way, and another sign of spring. Daylight saving time starting up. We want to spring ahead an hour this weekend. Sunday night or Saturday night into early Sunday, officially at 2 a.m. You want to turn that clock ahead 1 hour, and that means a shift in our sunrises and sunsets. Check out this gorgeous sunrise this morning, officially at 6:45 this morning. It will look a lot different come Monday morning when you're getting ready to head out the door. Our sunrises will be an hour later, so it'll still be pretty dark at that point in time. Kind of a bummer for us early risers, but the payoff for that is as we get those later sunsets and bonus daylight hours later in the day. So a little change coming up here this weekend with that. We've got clear skies and sunshine throughout much of the valley. There are a few clouds hanging around in a few spots, but otherwise clear. And yes, it is frigid out there. Check out Bemidji. We're at 1 below. Remember when we set record highs earlier this week? Well, it doesn't feel like it right now. It's 7 in Grand Forks, 13 in Fargo, and 9 in Langdon. Hallock is at 3. So again, you're going to want those layers. You're going to want to get that heater going in your car here this morning and make sure that kids are dressed warmly for the bus stop. Temperatures will be into the teens again in the Fargo area at least. There are colder spots out there, and we'll keep that sun around into the afternoon, and the kids may want that heavier layer off this afternoon with temperatures back into the 40s coming up. Some 30s over to the east though, so still not quite hitting the 50s and 60s of last week, but that doesn't mean we are not going to see those temperatures coming up here. Here's a look at your weekend planner. Saturday looks fantastic. A high of 56 degrees in Fargo. Expect lots of sun tomorrow and just gorgeous conditions. Sunday, a few changes. We'll see a few more clouds on Sunday. We'll have a little bit more of a breeze and temperatures slightly cooler, but still a decent day ahead of that system that will mainly miss us to the south on Monday, but got to keep an eye out for a few flakes in the south.
All right, but Saturday is looking like a pretty good day, especially for that Bison game.
Yes.
Lisa, thank you. A North Dakota judge has set bail at $1 million for the man accused of continuous abuse of a child. 65-year-old Terry Johnson of Alamo is charged after the Williams County Sheriff's Office got a report last week regarding sexual abuse of a girl. He's being held in the Williams County Correctional Center.
A 27-year-old North Dakota man is accused of sexually assaulting his 16-year-old daughter's babysitter in his New Salem home. The Morton County Sheriff's Office says the victim and her friend were babysitting Alexander Stump Milliam's son when Stump Milliam came home and began drinking with the teenagers. Deputies say the victim fell asleep in a bedroom while her friend was in the living room. Court records say Stump Milliam told the friend he was going to take a shower when the friend walked in on him raping the unconscious victim. Stump Milliam is charged with gross sexual imposition and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. A 33-year-old substitute teacher in Fessenden, North Dakota, faces charges of corruption of a minor and luring minors by computer. The North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigations says Seth Flemmer is accused of sending nude photos to a 17-year-old student and asking her to do sexual acts with him.
According to an affidavit, the girl met Flemmer once in person and says that he kissed her. The victim told police their relationship started at the Fessenden school when Flemmer worked there as a substitute teacher. The judge in the trial of fired Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin reinstated a charge of third-degree murder to go along with second-degree murder and manslaughter in the death of George Floyd.
That gives the jury another option for conviction, but may bring an appeal by the defense. For now, opening arguments are expected in a few weeks. Ousted North Dakota lawmaker Luke Simon says he will not challenge his expulsion before the state Supreme Court.
He says prolonging the process would leave his constituents in the Dickinson area without representation for the rest of the legislative session. That means the District 36 party chairman will appoint a replacement. Local teachers, they're breathing sighs of relief as they get their COVID vaccines.
There's a vaccination blitz going on in Fargo and West Fargo schools, getting more than 2,000 doses into the arms of both teachers and staff.
There'd be just that little bit less anxiety of when a student hands me a paper, of that little voice in your head that's like, you should wash your hands now. Just a sense of optimism and relief that we're finally there and that hopefully this is a big step toward getting back to normal.
Fargo school officials say students will go back to distance learning on March 31st and April 1st so teachers can get their second dose of the vaccine. West Fargo Schools has not yet announced its plans.
Firefighters are searching for the cause of a fire that destroyed a home in Dilworth. It happened around 7:30 yesterday morning at 801 7th Street Northeast.
Officials say there was one person inside at the time, and that person was taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Firefighters did have some problems moving around that home because they say it was just so packed with items. A Grand Forks motorcyclist says that he was involved in a hit and run this week on Columbia Road, which has prompted other riders to share their stories of close calls.
They're urging you to be more mindful on the roads as the weather warms up.
And really, if you're not ready for a motorcycle, you're not ready for a kid running out in front of you chasing a ball.
Remind your kids as well to look for motorcycles, because if you started at a young age, that hopefully will last the rest of their life.
Police in Fargo, West Fargo, and Moorhead say so far this season they have not responded to any crashes involving motorcycles. Of course, it's early in the season. They are urging drivers to help keep it that way. A bronze statue of the late U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg will be unveiled today at City Point in downtown Brooklyn.
The artist says the statue celebrates Women's History Month by recognizing the lasting legacy of Ginsburg in her work toward gender equality. The New York State Attorney is scheduled to speak, and the city will proclaim March 15th as Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg Day in Brooklyn. Don't forget the Bison. They're back at home this week, taking on Illinois State Redbirds tomorrow, and it's happening at the Fargo Dome.
The pregame show starts at 1:30. Kickoff is set for 2:30, and you can catch all of the action on KVLY.
And it's going to be a beautiful day, so hey, break out the grill, maybe have a
No
good time.
tailgating at the Dome. Do a little tailgating in your driveway.
I love that sound of it. Let's get the answer now, though, to our question of the morning on Facebook. That question today is, the average person does this at work 5 times a week.
Uh-oh. The answer? Lie to the boss. 5 times in 1 week? What are you lying about? I don't know. I don't want to know.
I was about to say, I was like, I'm not going to speculate. The boss is watching. Anyway, the Today Show at CBS this morning are just about to start, but the Valley today, it rolls on. We have more live up-to-the-minute news and weather for you on the CW. Have a great Friday, everyone.